These lands are my bones, these waters my blood. I've got Praetoria in my soul.
Hey, everyone. It is town hall time for the Splinterlands community. It's Monday, November 6th, 2023. And I think we have some pretty exciting updates announcements for you on this town hall on this fine Monday. So I'll start with just a quick update. Then we'll probably turn it over to Investigator, who you can see on my right, at least on the screen on my right, to give kind of an update on the release tomorrow and stuff going on from the tech and ops side of things. Then we will probably turn it over to Farpatrod, who you can see on the bottom left corner there, for an update. I think we all know what he's working on. And then Nate, as always, I don't know if he has anything special prepared. We haven't talked ahead of time, but Nate's always free to show anything he feels.
I thought I was just here for my looks.
Yeah, maybe you're just showing yourself, maybe some different poses for the audience. So lots of stuff to look forward to. High level update is things are going really well. Rebellion is coming along really nicely. We've been doing a whole lot of internal testing, tournaments and things, and the internal team's been doing a lot there. The card stats are getting pretty much finalized, and the art is coming along. So we are still 100% on track for the December 5th release date for that, and look for that to be up on the Mavs server, a week or so before that. So all the Mavs can try to check it out and check out all the new cards a little bit ahead of time, and we'll definitely take feedback, on the cards and everything, if we need to make any other last minute changes for release. That's. Oh, you there, Ron? Okay. So other than Rebellion, the big thing we are also working on is land, but I'm not going to give an update on that yet. First, we're going to kick it over to Investigator to give an update on the release tomorrow.
Good evening. Actually bring up the release notes. Okay, so we are doing an update tomorrow. Is land going out? We'll find out while we talk to Neil. But probably not. So what we do have going out tomorrow is we have some changes to when and how teams are validated. This is mainly to address some edge case behavior in our Swiss format tournaments, where both players either surrendered, timed out, or submitted invalid teams. It would not resolve as desired in all cases, which is basically that both players get a loss. So that should be addressed going forward. There's a lot of little quality of life changes. We made a update to the credits page, so it will persist the entered amount of credits as you go through different options. We are removing some uncommonly used currencies to gauge up a bit. We have fixed a minor issue with adding wax wallets, where it was not forcing it all to lowercase. We cleaned up the partner link in the footer, i.e. we removed it because it went to an email that didn't exist, and have replaced it with a link to land. And we have extended the default locking options for cards, so that should now apply to airdrops, promotional sales, basically anywhere in the code where it generates a card. If you have default locking turned on, it should apply your default locking now. And that's pretty much everything going out tomorrow. We did make a fix earlier in the week to address some antivirus issues. One of our URLs that makes up the site was blocked by Avast AVG. So we just replaced it with a different URL that goes to the same servers. We also made a small fix to the price feed that had been stuck a couple times in the past couple weeks. So if a individual service that we pull prices from stops responding or goes down, the rest of the price feed should keep updating. Basically, it's a little bit more robust than it used to be. And, that is pretty much it for coming changes.
Cool. Thanks, Investigator. I mean, I know it might not be as exciting as Land and Rebellion and all that stuff, but honestly, like, it's those little things that are actually super important. And it's great to have Investigator and other people on the team that go through and fix the smaller issues that players report and just make sure overall things are running smoothly. So we definitely couldn't do it without him and all that work going on in the background. So thanks for everything you do and for the update. Looking forward to those changes tomorrow. I am going to kick it over to the land god himself, Farpatrod, to see if he has anything to share with the community.
Hello. So I know everyone's been waiting for a long time. So we're here to talk about Land's release. It's not going out tomorrow, but it is going to go out on the 14th. Of course, this is subject, to any last issues or whatever coming up in test, but the 14th is the day. So better start getting your stuff ready. Get your cards off the market from rental because you're going to want to jump on Land the second it's out.
Cool.
I know there's a lot of bug fixes since the last time we did a release on Mavs. So we're probably going to be pushing a Mavs release tonight. That will include everything that's been fixed. We're just making sure it goes out to the internal QA server fine first, and then we will have, what we're considering that gold build out there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was going to ask about the Mav server update, so there we go with that. We're also we'll put out an official announcement post probably tomorrow, so like a week ahead of time. But you guys heard it here first. That's the advantage of being on the town hall. I'm going to give the usual disclaimer that while we are pretty confident at this point that we've done significant testing and found and fixed, the serious bugs, this is an entirely brand new thing that we've never built before. It's not even like Rebellion, which has a lot of new stuff, but it's more updates. And it's a new set that we've done a number of times and updates to our battle engine that we've worked with for years. Land is like a completely new system. It works completely differently from anything else we have. So if something very critical comes up that we just can't get fixed by next week, it is definitely possible that it would have to be delayed. But to the best of our abilities right now, we feel that it will be ready. And so I think, at this point, delaying it further doesn't make any sense. So, trying to balance getting out a quality release and getting it out to you guys as soon as possible. And next week seems to be the date. And it also, will give everybody a few weeks there to get all settled into their new land plots before Rebellion kicks off. And then everyone's got to rush back into battles there and try out all the new mechanics. So from a timing wise perspective, it seemed to work out pretty well, and it's going to be a pretty exciting last couple months of the year in the Splinterverse, as it's called. So many thanks to Farpatrod. This has not been an easy project by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, this guy's been on, I've seen messages from him all hours of nights and weekends for like a really long time. It's not just like, oh, work extra for a few weeks to get something out. It's been months and months of pushing through this. And yeah, it's turned out really well so far, and this is only the beginning. So I'm sure a lot of you know that there's certain features that are not planned to be in for the release next week, but we plan to immediately start working on those, and we're just going to release them as soon as they're ready. So, off the top of my head, the first and foremost thing that we're going to get out after the initial release is the internal grain and DEC market. So that's not planned to be part of the release next week, but that's going to be the highest priority thing that Farpatrod and others are going to work on, because obviously that's super important to the whole ecosystem. And then unlocking soulbound cards so they can be used on land based on the proposal that passed a little while back. Combining of totem fragments, the prefix titles, DEC rental markets, allowing card rentals to be used on land, and land surfing is kind of the high level list of major things that we are just going to jump right into and get out as quickly as we can after the initial release. But we didn't feel it made sense to push the release back even further to try to get those in. But so, even after the initial release, there's still a lot of stuff that's just going to be coming out on a pretty regular basis as it's ready. So, and then of course we're going to be jumping into phase 2. Maybe we'll give everybody a little break for a week or so, and we're going to jump into phase 2. I've been talking about the phase 2 white paper. I am pretty confident by the end of the month we will have the first draft of the phase 2 white paper ready to share with the community. And I emphasize the word draft. I want to release it like as a draft, not a final version, to really allow the community to give feedback and comments on it and adjust it, kind of regularly until we kind of arrive at a final version. But I think it's really important to get that out, around the time that Land Phase 1.5 is released, just to it really highlights, like, Phase 1.5 is very watered down from the perspective of what you can do as a player. There's only 3 types of things you can harvest. There's no buildings. So from that perspective, it's relatively, kind of boring. But it's the framework, and it's setting us up for phase 2, which is going to have 30 or more buildings that you can build and level up to different levels. It's going to have over 50 different resources, and it's going to have a very intricate like supply chain type system of how those resources can be combined and refined and built up into ultimately the ability to craft item and spell cards to add to the game. So that having at least a draft of the phase 2 white paper out will kind of give everyone, the reasoning behind what they're doing in phase 1.5, why you want to get, a lot of grain, why you want to do a lot of research, and why you want to, get cards and sort of prepare for the next phase ahead of time. So yeah, I mean, this is a super exciting time. I know people have been waiting for this for literally years. The first like playable phase of Land is scheduled to be released, again, scheduled and planned to be released next week on Tuesday, the 14th. And, I'll be around for questions, and Farpatrod and the rest of the team will be here as soon as we're done our little initial speeches and Nate's done his eye candy tour. So Land or anything else you want to ask. I do want to mention, though, I only have an hour and a half today. I apologize, everybody. So I will only be able to go for another like hour and 15 minutes. So I'll try to be even more concise than I usually am, which is not concise at all, on answering the questions to get to as many as possible. So I apologize. It'll be a little shorter than the usual town halls. But without further ado, let's turn it over to Nate, see if he has anything for us today, or we just get to look at his beautiful face all for the rest of the time.
Yeah. This is the right side. This is the left side. So no. Before I got some stuff I could share. Unfortunately, it's not Land related, but just to get it off my chest, I want to say, Land. Geez, it's a long time coming. It's so exciting. I don't know if people see it the same way I do, but the way I see it is talk about a huge differentiator. I mean, people might come and say, well, we're like Hearthstone. Well, yeah, sort of. Like Magic the Gathering, yeah, sort of. We're more rapid strategy, but you could take your cards and wait a minute. You can put your cards and make them workers on a plot of land, and you can start building. Like, what? Where did that come from? Holy cow! To me, it's just growing the ecosystem. We knew it was coming. It's finally happening. You're gonna be able to slot your workers and build those work sites and start mining and producing something. And just the fact that we're seeing it happening in the next week, that's just I'm excited as any other player in the community right now. I can't wait to participate in that. I want to give a shout out to anyone who's been participating in the recently made Discord channels, the UX channel. Great feedback. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I think one of the feedback was add some percentages and max to the DEC transfer. That was easy. I think Roy already made up some quick UI designs, and then Fat Jimmy and so many others are asking for little red dots in the nav bar. It's kind of like notification system. And Tyler's did a great job of helping me. Like, just I mean, these are not heavy lift things to do. So we're kind of in between as they're waiting for feedback from me on more, land stuff or rebellion stuff or otherwise. Then they know, go check it out. See if there's any good ideas that have a very low lift, and we'll knock it out real quick, and we'll have it waiting there for one of the devs in case one of them gets some time free and they're sitting on their hands and waiting for something else. They can maybe bang that out, and that's because of you guys, the community. That is so awesome. Thank you so much for the feedback. Keep it coming. I think together, collectively, we'll make the game better and better and better. And also, big shout out to those participating in the new community-driven organic growth marketing channel. So for those of you who are kind of taking part in the War Room Discord channel and just trying to evangelize, shoot from the rooftops what you like about Splinterlands, either via social media or via website portals or DApp tracking sites and things like that. If you love the game and you want to participate in that, then come join us in the War Room, and we'll get you what you need to go out there and do what you got to do. Speaking of which, every town hall, I'll probably look at what I shared and make sure that is in the community cloud folder. I want you guys to have that. And without further ado, let me go ahead and show at least a few things. One of the first things I wanted to share was that I shared it like a year ago, but it's been a while. But essentially, it is the upcoming Rift Watcher airdrop. It's around the corner. It's the last one. It's for those of you who've been kind of like, I got more time to get Rift Watcher. I got more time. You're running out of time. We got a lot of stuff going on at the same time. We got land coming out, but you also got the end of Rift Watchers is looming. You better, if you want to get some packs, now's the time, particularly since we got that airdrop coming up. So for those of you guys don't remember what that airdrop character looked like, here is a quick wallpaper. His name is Inevitable. And here is a larger wallpaper version of him in case you want something with a little different aspect ratio. You get to see uncropped his arms and how the fact that he shoots these huge ginormous steel javelins. I know that I don't have stats to share. I'm sure we'll have a blog post most likely.
Yeah. I apologize. We don't have the stats ready yet. It's been a bit crazy, with getting land ready to go and making sure that we should be able to hit the date, and getting the post ready, and then rebellion stuff has been taking up a lot of time. But we will have the stats ready. We will get that released in a post. So I apologize that it's not ready to be teased on the town hall yet.
No, but I mean, still, the guy is freaking cool. For those of you who care about the lore, it's this guy named Bartle, who was a knight. And when the Chaos Legion came and invaded, and he got killed in battle, his soul got sucked up in a mystical gem from his daughter, and undercover in a cave, almost like Iron Man style, Tony Stark in the first movie, in some cave making some armor. They ended up creating a vessel for that soul of that noble knight, so that one day to participate in the coming rebellion, and as part of the Rift Watcher forces, he'd be able to use his noble spirit within this ginormous kaiju style looking golem. So that's pretty cool. And then other stuff I could share. I shared before some kind of like some artwork for Rebellion, and I can keep doing so. I'm trying to see if I have elements that I haven't shared before. Let's show. Well, we're on a life vibe. So here's a Rebellion life character, also known as the Sky Spire Leopard. So that is a Skyspire Leopard. On the flip side of that coin, of course, you have life, and then you have death. This guy internally, he's kind of a favorite on the creative side because he's like an undead Ninja Turtle. We already have some humanoid turtle-like characters in the game right now, but this guy is kind of like a little creepier because his like skin's falling off, and he's you know, clearly something's wrong. So he's not the nicest turtle. Therefore, he's in death clearly. What else? We have dragon. I haven't shared a dragon character. Here's a dragon character. Her name is Shimanosh Akane. I think is how you pronounce it. I'm gonna have to check with the narrative guys to see if I butchered that. But she is obviously a caster for the dragon element. She's one of the dragon-like humanoid races. And then finally, I mean, I guess we already shared a neutral character because that's our promo cards. They're neutral, but I don't know. Here's a non-promo. But for those of you who follow the Toma Chaos stories, you'll know who this is because she's been in a lot of stories over the course of the Chaos Wars. She is a monk who's rebelled against not just the order, but almost everyone, joined a ragtag group to kind of follow through, help them on their adventures. And that those stories, those adventures are going to bleed into Rebellion 5 years later. But here I present to you Delia, the monk fighter. So she's pretty cool. I really liked the artwork. I think Edie and Alfredo helped to design that character for the card. So it's looking sweet. Yeah. And that's what I got. That's what I got for some quick eye candy.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Nate. Again, to the community, I haven't seen any of these characters yet myself, so I'm in the boat with you guys and just as excited as you to see these for the first time on the town halls. So thank you, Nate, for continuing to rock it there. Yeah, I guess that about covers it for the introduction and everything and the updates. So we can jump right into question time. I'm going to start before we get to questions in the chat. I'm going to go to the questions that were pre-asked that we kind of put into the Google sheet. So we will get to chat questions very shortly. So just hold on there for 1 second. So the first question we have here that was asked before the town hall started was around the decentralization of the project. This is actually a really good question. I think it was asked by Vetev or Vetv, however you pronounce it. So really good question, and I'm gonna, even though I said earlier that I was gonna be more concise, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on this one because I think it's important. So I broke that promise on the first question. Sorry. So it's regarding SPS chain nodes and Web3 decentralization. Currently, the battle mechanic and battle processing occurs solely within Splinterlands servers. Is it your intent to decentralize the game mechanic to SPS nodes, or perhaps more powerful server hosts via secondary decentralized node network with the goal to more completely decentralize the game for Web3? And then the second part of the question is, what's the vision for decentralizing land? What's going to be processed on SPS chain versus centralized on Splinterlands servers? So really good question. We don't, we kind of get caught up on the here and now and the rebellion and land and all those things, which are important, but the overall